All right, another spark and another build, and glad to have you back at the Forge. Your weekly masterclass in the world of Tools and Titans is about to begin. I'm Toolin.
And I'm Tatiana. Today we're witnessing a clash of titans. The pun is very much intended, as this is more than just a battle of metal and magic. It's philosophy in action. Another PvP match we're calling Wind versus Wither.
In one corner, Aurevana, the Windwright of positional flow. She's one of the legendary Green Six, Titans dedicated to natural harmony. Her entire mechanic is about movement, speed, and reaction.
And in the other corner, her tragic reflection, Crustmour, the Silt-Born Wither. He represents what happens when those same ideals of nature are twisted, where harmony becomes stagnation, where earth becomes hazardous, grinding decay.
Toolin. This is the heart of the game's conflict. Not just good versus evil, but ideals versus their own corrupted extremes. But for anyone new to the Forge, you might be wondering how a turn even works.
It's an elegant six-step process, the foundation for every strategy, every epic battle.
So how does one play Tools and Titans? Easy. Draw your cards, charge your energy, build your field, act with your powers, clash with your Titans. End your turn. 6 steps, one epic battle.
And the players bringing these forces to life are top tier. Piloting Aurevana, we have Tallo, known for a flashy, responsive esports style. They want to control the tempo and overwhelm you with options.
Facing them is Zarny, a pure card game theorist. Methodical, patient, Zarny loves to build a fortress and win a long, grinding war of attrition, which makes their assigned Titan, Crustmour, a perfect fit.
So it's a dancer versus a wall. Let's get to the setup. The Forge Gate Protocol.
We're in the pre-round setup. First, the Divine Draw, that one card pull for a potential head start. Tallo is up, and it's a hit. A charge token. Their pool starts at 1, a small but immediate tempo advantage.
Zarny's Divine Draw is a miss, no starting charge. As a grind-based deck, this isn't a disaster, but it does cede the opening pace to Tallo. Zarny doesn't even flinch.
Now, the opening zone setup. Tallo places their key tool, Directional Aerofoil, in the frontline forge. Zone 1. Then they place their task. Redirect the flow current in the midfield.
This is classic Aurevana, an aggressive forward tool for early pressure and a mid-game task that promises incredible mobility later on. Tallo is already thinking 2 turns ahead.
Zarny's setup is a dark mirror. Their tool, Fault Line Splinter, also goes to the front line. Their task, Crack the Quarry Vein, also goes to the midfield. Same zones, completely different philosophy.
Exactly. Where Tallo wants to control flow, Zarny wants to break the foundation. That Quarry Vein task won't grant mobility. It will create a permanent sinkhole in Zone 3, weakening anything built there. It's not about movement, it's about pressure.
The board is set. The plans are in motion. Let's head into round 1, phase by phase.
First, the Forge phase. No latent Titan abilities trigger yet. The board is still. The wind coils, and the soil tenses beneath it.
On to the draw phase. Tallo draws the Windsway Inflector, another tool. An excellent draw for their engine. Zarny pulls a Structure, Buried Shale Node. A defensive piece.
Now charge phase. Simple. Both players gain 1 charge. Tallo's pool is now 2. Zarny's is at 1.
Task phase. Both opening tasks tick down. They are now at turn 1 of a 3-turn countdown. Those powerful effects are getting closer.
And now the action phase. This is where things get interesting. Tallo spends their entire pool of 2 charge. They play the Windsway Inflector in their support zone.
And because their other tool is in Zone 1, the Inflector's passive is immediately online. It will generate an extra point of charge for Tallo at the end of this turn. The engine is already running. It's a beautiful, efficient setup.
Zarny's turn to act. They spend their 1 charge. They play that buried shale node in Zone 3, the center control zone. It's a structure with 4 toughness.
That's a statement. Zarny is planting a flag, building a wall right in the middle of the board. They are daring Tallo to contest the crumbling earth. Which brings us to the most exciting phase, the clash phase.
Tallo has to make a move. The directional aerofoil pushes from Zone 1 into Zone 3. It strikes the new buried shale node.
Wind against stone. The node's toughness absorbs the blow, dropping to 3, no breach, no zone capture. This was a probe, a test. Tallo is forcing Zarny to commit resources to defense.
And now, the end phase. First, Tallo's inflector triggers. They gain a free charge point. Their pool is back to 1. The tempo advantage is real.
The tasks for both players advance to turn 2 of 3, and then a twist. The environmental twist deck reveals Glintstorm Veil.
Subtle, but nasty. All Weavefield zones pulse with 1 CP decay next round. This means future plays will cost 1 extra charge, a resource strain on both players.
And that's the end of a very tense, very strategic round 1. Let's get into round 2.
Going into the draw phase for round 2, the Glintstorm Veil is active. Every move costs more. Tallo draws a Zephyr Draft, a low-cost flux card, very useful for quick actions.
Zarny draws Petrified Root, another structure. They are committing to their fortress strategy. Charge phase, both players gain 1. Tallo is at 2. Zarny is at 2. They are even.
Task phase. This is it. This is the moment both players have been waiting for. Both tasks complete.
Tallo's redirect the flow current finishes. For the next 2 turns, they can swap the position of up to 2 tools for free. The board just became a dynamic, shifting puzzle for Tallo to command.
Simultaneously, Zarny's Crack the Quarry Vein completes. A sinkhole opens in Zone 3. Any structure there, now and in the future, gets a permanent -1 to its toughness. Zarny's own shale node immediately drops from 3 to 2.
Wait, they weakened their own structure? That seems counterintuitive.
For anyone else, yes. But for Crustmour, it's part of the plan. The deck is filled with cards that benefit from having damaged or weakened zones and structures. Zarny is intentionally wounding the board to empower their other abilities. It's a hazardous ground strategy.
Incredible. Now for the action phase. The Glintstorm Veil makes things expensive. Tallo spends their 2 charge. But what will they do with this new mobility?
First, they use their new task power. They swap the directional aerofoil in Zone 1 with the Windsway Inflector in Zone 4. The board just reconfigured in a flash.
Why that move?
The Inflector is now at the front line, and its passive is still active. The aerofoil is now safe in the back. Now, Tallo spends 2 charge to play the Zephyr Draft. It lets them move an opposing card 1 zone back. They target Zarny's Fault Line Splinter, pushing it from the front line back into Zarny's midfield.
Wow. A total disruption of Zarny's frontline presence. Tallo didn't destroy anything. They just completely rearranged the board in their favor. That's the positional flow style in action.
Zarny's turn. They have 2 charge. They spend it all to play the Petrified Root structure in Zone 2. It has a low toughness, but its passive is, when it's destroyed, Zarny gains +2 charge.
So it's a trap, it's bait. Zarny is daring Tallo to attack it, to give them a resource advantage. Every card choice reinforces their identity.
Clash phase. Tallo is up. The newly positioned Windsway Inflector clashes with the buried shale node in Zone 3. The node's toughness is only 2, and it's destroyed.
Zone 3 is now open. Tallo has breached the center. No, wait. Zarny has a response. A flux card from their hand. Sudden slump. They can play it when a structure is destroyed. It deals 1 damage to the attacking tool.
The Windsway Inflector is damaged, but more importantly, Zarny has no structure left in the center. Tallo has achieved a major positional victory.
End phase. Tallo's Inflector, though damaged, still triggers. They gain a charge. The Glintstorm Veil fades. The board state has changed dramatically. Tallo has momentum.
This is where the game gets decided. Zarny has weathered the storm and has traps set. Tallo has broken the wall and has tempo. Every turn is a chess match, and it all comes back to that simple loop.
Every Titan turn. Draw, charge, building act, clash, end. 6 steps. Infinite ways to forge your victory.
We're heading into what feels like a pivotal round 3. Tallo has the tempo, Zarny has the board presence and traps. During the draw phase, Tallo gets Cyclone Lure, a powerful task that can pull enemies into a single zone.
Zarny draws Corrosive Seepage, a flux that damages any tool that moves. A direct counter to Tallo's mobility plan. They were waiting for this.
This is the turning point. Can Tallo leverage their speed to win before Zarny's grind-based decay takes over the entire board? The next clash could decide everything.
We'll have to see how that clash unfolds next time. This match is a masterclass in strategic depth, and it shows how a game's design can tell a story with every single move.
It's not just a game. It's a world unfolding, with every turn governed by that core, elegant process.
In every match of Tools and Titans, your tradecraft unfolds in 6 simple moves: draw, charge, building, act, clash, end.
Simplicity for the novice, mastery for the Titan.